Hey everybody, it is me. I'm Goose, and you're watching On With the Show. And today's podcast is a little different. I normally find like one topic and I talk about it for 20, 30, 35 minutes or so. Today, I've got three different topics to talk about because neither one of these topics will make a full show. So we're just going to just get into the show today. I'm going to go through these different topics and give you my opinions. I'm pretty much going to be on the OBS from here. So let's switch on over and we'll get on with the show. So our first story today comes from The Independent. Bonnie Tyler, seriously ill but stable in hospital following emergency surgery. The Welsh singer was placed in an induced coma to aid her recovery while in Portugal hospital. This was written by Lauren Del Fabro Tuesday, the 12th of May. And it goes on to say, Bonnie Tyler, the iconic Welsh singer, famous for Total Eclipse of the Heart. That's her biggest hit. And that's what she's most known for. Remains in a serious but stable condition following emergency intestinal surgery last week. Her spokesman has confirmed the 74-year-old was placed in an induced coma to aid her recovery after being rushed to the hospital near her home in Faro, Portugal. On Tuesday, a representative for the Grammy-nominated star stated, as of this morning, Bonnie remains seriously ill, but stable in hospital at Faro. However, her doctors are still positive that she will make a full recovery. The family also expressed distress over lurid and untrue rumors, probably people circulating that she had passed, which is untrue. Circulating appealing for privacy and decency at this difficult time. The news of her surgery first emerged via Instagram post on last Wednesday. The singer was scheduled to embark on a European tour later this year, which I don't know if she's going to make it. Marking 50 years since her 1976 breakthrough hit, Lost in France. Performances are planned for Malta and in Germany. I don't think she's going to make those either. This month, with further dates across the UK, Austria, Hungary, Turkey, Romania. Tyler's friend Liberto Meala, a businessman based in Algarve, I'm going to just say Algarve, has described the weeks leading up to her current condition. The 74-year-old singer first complaining feeling unwell while playing a gig in London in March. She stated feeling unwell during a concert in London and went to a doctor for tests, but they didn't detect anything there. Mr. Miela told The Sun she decided to travel to the Algarve, where she began to feel severe abdominal pain. He continued 2 days later. To a private hospital, which urgently transferred her to the hospital in Faro because her appendix had burst. That would be the severe abdominal pain. And she needed emergency surgery. And Mr. Mayala said that Tyler is currently being supported at her hospital, bedside by her husband, Robert Sullivan, a property developer she married in 1973. He added that Mr. Sullivan does not believe his wife would still be alive if she had remained in the UK. I believe the same thing. He's very grateful to the doctors and nurses at Faro Hospital and believes that Bonnie, if she had stayed in the United Kingdom, she would no longer be here. That's Tyler, whose birth name is Gaynor Hopkins, achieved global fame in the 80s with her UK #1 single, Total Eclipse of the Heart, which also went #1 here in the United States. Her extensive catalog also includes the hits Holding Out for a Hero, which you would probably best know it from Shrek 2. But it was also in the movie Footloose. It's been used in a lot of different, Holding Out for a Hero is very funny. And her song, It's a Heartache, which is a very good song too. Tyler was recognized for her contributions to music with an MBE in 2023. So yeah, apparently I guess, and I have known people very close to me who have had their appendix removed. They were in severe abdominal pain. The last person I talked to about it who had their appendix taken out, basically they were like in pain. They said it came on pretty quickly. It felt like just a little ache, and then it just progressed. And then was told that, hey, you're turning green, which and they went in for emergency surgery to have their appendix removed before it burst. So this is actually pretty serious. When I saw that she was in a medically induced coma, I was wondering what in the world had happened. I thought maybe she had a stroke, or maybe even an aneurysm, but no, she had her appendix taken out. And I think because of her age, she's 74 years old, that is the reason for the induced coma, because, hey, it takes a while and I'm just going to be honest, because I'm getting older. It takes a while longer for me to get, for me to heal. And I'm sure that someone who's 15, 20 years older than I am, it takes them even longer to heal. The body, it just functions that way. And so my prayers are going out to Bonnie Tyler, great singer. I remember her very distinctly from the 80s, which is where I grew up, for Total Eclipse of the Heart, one of the biggest songs of the early 80s. Going on to the next story, and I have to show this to you because I could not believe it. This is from TMZ. Canada motorbike accident, bike hanging from traffic light after crazy crash. I have to just show this to you. Yeah, here it is. Let me back this up. I'm going to back this up. And you can see it right there. Hanging from the traffic light that says mall entrance. Oh, it's Scott Road. I don't know if I have anything to do with that, but you look at that, I've shown this to several people, and they're like, how? Now I'm going to go through this again, because look at that accident. Look at and there's that bike just hanging from that traffic light. Everybody just kind of scratched their head every time. They're like, how in the world did that bike get up there? And I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Let's go back. So, in fact, I'll just pause it here, because if you look at it, if you look at the impact here, you look where the bike is, my best guess is that the motorcyclist was going into the intersection doing a wheelie. He was up on one wheel, because that's the only way I can think of. Because if you look at the damage done to this car, you look at the damage done to that car there, the only way that bike could have gotten airborne is if he's on one wheel and it goes ba-boom, and it flies up there and gets stuck. And of course he fell and hit the ground. That's the only explanation. He had to have been doing a stunt on one wheel when he hit this car. And the car probably pulled out. The car probably had a green light and pulled out in front of him. And he just went ta-ting and just shot up right into that traffic light. Let's get into the article. A motorcycle crash in Canada sent a bike literally flying, and it wound up dangling from the traffic light. The motorcycle collided with a silver sedan on Saturday in Delta, a southern suburb of Vancouver, outlets are reporting. You can see the video. The bike is hanging from the front wheel thanks to the impact of the crash. Local reporter Sabraj Singh Kalan posted on X that the motorcyclist has been taken to the hospital for serious but non-life-threatening injuries, according to the police. The driver of the sedan reportedly uninjured, and no word yet on what caused the crash. Yeah, I can pretty much tell you from a shadow of a doubt, going back to the picture here. First of all, he must have been wearing a helmet, because that had to have been the reason why. Because I'm sure once he hit this, he he either got stuck here and fell to the ground, and he's being checked for back injuries, because most likely he's wearing a helmet, or when he went airborne. When he went airborne, the bike got stuck here, and he just kept flying that way. That, and serious injury, broken arm, broken leg. Like I'm saying, they're not life-threatening, so he, again, had to have been wearing a helmet. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen. When I first saw this, I was like, how did that bike get up there? And everybody I've shown this to have been like, and they said this, how'd that bike get up there? Again, my best guess is he was on one wheel when he hit this car. Because if the car had hit him, the damage would be in front and the bike would be this way. He had to have hit this car going this way, got airborne, and either got stuck up there and fell straight down, or the bike got stuck up there and he went flying over that way. You could see the yellow tape stretch out this way, which has to mean, in my opinion, that he landed somewhere over here. He landed somewhere over there. And like I said, he had severe but not non-life-threatening injuries. Probably broke his leg, broke his arm. He may have hurt his back. May have even broken his back. God forbid. But again, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, I want to show this to you, but it wasn't going to be a full podcast. But I'm like, well, let me just bring this up here because, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then let's go to story number 3. Story number 3 is, and I talked about this yesterday when I talked about Hayden Panettiere coming out with, her horrifying experience on the boat with her so-called friend and the naked famous guy, that people were going to try to figure out, okay, we need to figure out who these two people are because she doesn't name them. She doesn't say who they are, And so what has happened? Well, apparently sleuths are thinking that the person that, put Hayden in the bed was Diana Jenkins of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And it has come out here on TMZ that says, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Diana Jenkins. Sleuths have it wrong. I did not put Hayden Panettiere in bed with a naked celeb. This was written today on the 13th. There they are. Diana Jenkins is denying internet rumors she pushed 18-year-old Hayden Panettiere into a bed with a famous naked man, with Rep telling TMZ she is ready to sue anyone who spreads the lies. I agree with her. Here's the deal. We talked about this. After Panettiere detailed her horrific experience on a yacht, she says, a trusted older female friend of hers took her to a room and physically put her in bed with a very famous man who was undressed, in both her memoir and on the On Purpose podcast with Jay Shetty. Fans have been spreading their theories online about the identity of who the man and the woman are. Again, I said this was going to happen. Why? Because we have this innate feeling to want closure about something that is none of our business. And this is really none of our business. Hayden decided she wasn't going to tell anybody. She's kept it to herself, and I fully believe she's going to tell us when she's ready. When it comes to the pal, Panettiere, who does not name, but says it was in the entertainment industry, fans were quick to throw out Jenkins' name. Jenkins Rep tells TMZ, Diana has had to deal with false online rumors before. And sadly, this is just another example of that. So let me be 100% clear about this. It most certainly is not Diana. And anyone who claims it is her will be sued. Her team adds that Jenkins has previously sued individuals for making similar allegations against her, which have ended in settlements in her favor. close this out by saying Panettiere has made serious, surprising statements in her memoir and on the publicly tour for it, including coming out as bisexual and getting real about giving up custody of her daughter amid addiction, anxiety, and postpartum depression. We talked about all this yesterday. You can just go to it at the end of the video. But this is the thing. It's like, for some reason, we think we need to know who it is that did these horrible things to her. And so we need to investigate. Let's investigate this and find out who that star was. Let's find out who that naked man was and who that rotten friend of hers was that put her in bed with. Yeah, let's find that out. And then, so, of course, this happens all the time. You know, internet sleuths get it wrong. They name the wrong person. They make accusations that ruin people's lives. It's happened before in other cases. It's going to happen here. They're going to probably name somebody else. They're going to name some dead male celebrity that it was probably him that was in. They're going to do a lot of things. They're going to try to. And the problem is that internet sleuths only have the internet to work with. They don't have real evidence that they can go back and look at. They might be able to go and get, Freedom of Information Act stuff and all those other things to try to figure out who it was. Because she doesn't even name the name. She doesn't even give us the name of the yacht. So we don't even know what the name of the yacht is that could be tied to this whole thing. We don't know. And so people believe that they have to figure this out because we want closure. We need to know what it is. And I'm like, no, you don't. Leave the poor girl alone. She'll tell us when she's ready to tell us. And it's will probably be two people that we really, I never would have thought it would have been them. But I'm going to also do one other thing. And first of all, I don't know who Diana Jenkins is. And just to let you know, I'm not a fan of any of the Real Housewives of whatever. Just name a city: Salt Lake City, Atlanta, Beverly Hills, Orange County. I've never ever followed any of that. I just don't. I know who some of them are because some of them transcend their fame out of their show. But I don't even know who Diana Jenkins is. And not only that, but the title of Real Housewives of, I sit there and I laugh because none of these women I don't think are really real housewives. I think that they're local celebrities who were able to get in on this craze for the Real Housewives craze. A Real Housewife, if you've ever been around Real Housewives are those who support their husbands and help them with his job and his work and, maybe even make him his lunches and stuff. And they get the kids to school and they make the kids lunches and they pick the kids up from school and they clean the house and they manage the house and they maybe even have their own businesses. Maybe have a boutique or maybe a little craft store, or maybe they do something online and they make a little money that way. But none of these women are Real Housewives. They are, again, like I said, local celebrities who are able to get in on this craze, these reality TV, which, honest to God, in the business, it's not even called reality TV. It's called unscripted television because everything is unscripted. But what you have is a producer who goes back there and tries to stir things up. I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe they put women in the same show who don't even like each other, who bicker and bitch and yell at each other. They don't like each other, and that makes great drama. Oh my gosh, yes, this is great. Look at the ratings. We're making so much money. That's what it really is. Because, when it first started, it was like 5 women who were all friends, and they were just trying to they were doing it to help their businesses grow. Because a lot of women they're into real estate, And like I said, they have shops. They want to help their businesses grow. The Kardashians had a little boutique that they worked at. That was one of the reasons why they liked doing their show, because it helped promote the boutique. This is unscripted television. This is stuff where it's like, hey, what do we talk about this week? They get people fighting at each other because it makes great television. And I will honestly say, for those people who, and I'm not saying if you like that kind of television, God bless you. I mean, I don't harbor any ill will if people like I love watching paranormal shows. I love, and real true crime shows. If you want to talk to me about Ghost Adventures or The First 48, I love those shows. Those shows that's the kind of drama I like. All right. I don't disparage anybody from liking this kind of unscripted television because it's what they like to watch. All right. So go ahead and watch. I mean, I know some people who love this stuff. God bless you. It's not for me. It's just not for me. And I think that's the reason why, they're able to stay on the market, because they're able to really tap into their audience. But again, going back to the topic, there is no reason for anybody to jump on Diana Jenkins unless they've got solid proof. Unless they were on the boat and they saw Jenkins and Panettiere together, and and something happened. Until Panettiere comes out and says, yes, it was Diana Jenkins, which I don't think she's going to. I don't even think it is Diana Jenkins. I think it's somebody else. I think it's somebody higher up the food chain. Somebody that's more well known than Diana Jenkins. And I think Diana Jenkins has every right to defend her name. And for anybody who spread these lies, if she's able to prove that, hey, it's not me. And the unfortunate part is, I think eventually, sooner or later, it's going to get so out of hand that Hayden is going to have to come out and say who it was. And I don't want that. I don't want that for her. I don't want that for her at all. I want her to be able to come out when she's ready to come out. All right. I have said enough on these topics today. I'm going to pull out of the OBS. I'm going to talk to you on the other side. So just hang on. So I've already given all my commentary on these stories today. I'm not going to give you any more commentary that I've already given on this side of the video. But what I am going to say is, if you haven't already, go down, subscribe to the channel, bang that bell for notifications, bang, bang, bang the bell for notifications, so you always know when a new video is uploaded. Give me a big like on the video. Let me know what you thought about it. It does help me with the algorithm. It does tell me if these are the kind of things that you want to hear from me. Share this out to your friends, family, and neighbors. Let them know what I'm working on over here with the show. And do me a favor. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about these topics today. I think all three of them are actually pretty interesting. They're all different types of topics. But I think they all need their different comments of what's going on. Because, again, I'm praying for Bonnie Tyler. I hope she does well. I'm hoping that everything works out with Hayden Panettiere, and please keep Diana Jenkins' name out of your mouth, because you don't want to get sued. So just give me a comment. Let me know what you thought about all the topics today. Tomorrow, hopefully, I will have another show more in line with what I've been doing. Maybe I'm trying to get some stuff some stuff done so I can give you a couple of critiques on some shows and some movies I've seen. But until then, I am Goose. You've been watching On With The Show. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the other side.